Rev up your engines! Alright, today we got a Lexus that trips the famous Catalytic Converter inefficiency code. And we're going to show how this LaunchCreater scan tool, it's like a $150 scan tool, can help figure out what's wrong. Now I could use my $5,000 scan tool. You're not going to buy one of those. But one of these, hey. Now we bought this thing used for a good price. But the stupid check engine light comes on and off. He's put cleaner in the gas tank, and sometimes the catalytic converter inefficient code will go off, sometimes it'll come on. So we'll plug it in the OBD data port, and this LaunchCreater Elite Toyota is an interesting tool. It's made for Toyota and Lexus. It'll do generic for others, but if you want to fix problems in your Toyota or Lexus, this is great, because all you got to do, turn the key on with it plugged in, and we're going to do diagnostics. It's scanning the VIN, now it's detecting the system. Realize, being a small unit, it has somewhat slower processing speed than my giant $5,000 one, but hey, there's a big difference between buying this thing for 150 bucks or whatever and buying a $5,000 stand tool. No, it's an RX 330 3FE 2005 6-cylinder, going through the system to generate a health report. Goes through all kinds of different systems. It's got some codes here. Now the inflatable restraint system, the airbag system, this is a weird car. The airbags never did deploy. It thinks that they have. He's had a problem with that, so we're going to start with that. We'll go to the codes for the airbag, occupant malfunction, current, and history. It says B1150, choice, occupant classification system malfunction. He wants me to reset the airbags, but I have a feeling it's not going to fix anything because it's a glitch in the airbag system as far as I'm concerned. But turn the key off, I'll turn the key on. I push the reset button on the computer that says you want to reset the trouble codes, erase it, and I did. But when we start it up, the airbag light's still on because it has some kind of a problem with the passenger airbag. Unless you want to spend a fortune. The main reason it bothered me was because he keeps getting the inefficient catalytic converter codes, right? And they're on here. It says inefficient catalytic converter codes, and it's got them for both cats. So how can you tell if it's the catalytic converters or the oxygen sensors or the air fuel ratio sensors, whatever you want to call them? Because all those parts are super expensive. Well, in this case, we can go to engine data and we can go to special functions. The air fuel sensor operation. We can get a lot of different data out. If you're really interested, you can do graphic analysis and stuff, but you want something simple. We're going to go to actuation tests. You want speed? Buy the $5,000 scan tool. This is 150 bucks. We see bank 2 sensor 2 failed and bank 1 sensor 2 failed. So, the problem isn't the super expensive catalytic converters. It is both oxygen sensors that are after the catalytic converters that are causing the problem. Now, as long as he doesn't need the car inspected and it runs good enough, hey, he isn't going to care about that. And they just told me, the owners, that this thing was rear-ended and the light came on for the airbag. Ever since that, they never fixed it, right? It probably broke something in the wiring when it got hit, and that was a long time ago, so no insurance company is going to cover it. They're just buckling up the seat belts. So now we figured out, well, the oxygen sensor is getting weak. Sometimes they're on, sometimes they're off. Cleaner seems to help it, but they say it runs okay, so let's take it for a road trip and see how it actually runs. But before we do, you can see it's great that you can access the tests the computer does, so you can see what's wrong without having to take everything apart and knowing a ton of stuff. Now, if you're really into it, like I said, actual data testing the oxygen sensors, right? Gives you why they failed, what their value was. But these are all automated testing systems. It's not like this machine is actually doing the testing. The computer on the car is doing the testing. This just accesses. That's why this thing can be 150 bucks, because it's just accessing information that's in the car already. So here we go, and the first thing I notice, man, this thing idles smooth for a car that has 224,676 miles on it. You really can't complain about the way it's running so far. Super quiet inside. Typical Lexus. The wipers wobble and make noise. You gotta put silicone wipers on these things if you don't like noise. Lexuses have a noisy wiper systems, right? So you can get silicone wipers that are quieter, and you can polish your windshield up like I've shown in my videos using that new finish stuff. The stuff in the orange can. It's not a wax, it's a polish for cars. You can actually polish the windshield, then you won't get these horrible noises. So far so good, other than the noisy wiper blades. We'll take it to our little drag strip. See how this thing is running, even though the oxygen sensors are a little bit worn now. There's nobody behind us, so we'll stop. And here we go. That engine sounds good. Tranny shift smooth. Hey, 224,000 miles. You wouldn't think so. Still runs like a clock. Still corners fine, even in the rain. Really. Acceleration is fine. It's running perfectly fine for a driver. It's just annoying that the tech engine light keeps coming on and off. It's off now because the stupid back oxygen sensors after the catalytic converters are a little bit worn. Yet it still idles like a dream. Whether or not your car's computer actually has a lot of information about your car in it, but you got to access it. And a simple tool like this can access it to find out that, yeah, it's just these goofball sensors on the back. And you find that you don't need to be a genius. Now, this can get a lot of information that most people are going to have no idea what it means. But the main thing about this is it can access the testing that the computer does on itself so you can see what parts went wrong. It's just OBD2, that particular thing that we used. And even though that's basic information, it's basic information that makes sense to you. You get into the complexities of it. Are you going to read freeze frame analysis of waveforms? No. You can access what the computer's already diagnosed with one of these. And since I'm always trying to help you guys out, I'm giving this scan tool away. Just place a clean, non-offensive comment on the YouTube comments below, and the winner of the scan tool will be chosen randomly. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Lexus Lover says, I'm looking for a reliable, naturally aspirated engine. What can you find for a reliably, naturally aspirated engine? I got a 99 Lexus GS300. I'm looking to buy a newer car, Toyota or Lexus. Here is the problem. Toyota sells quite a few cars that don't have turbochargers on them. You can look at the models, and they're all pretty well made, right? Even with Toyota and Lexus, I personally would not buy a turbocharged. I do not like turbocharged engines. Since your old 99, the new Toyotas and Lexuses use Toyota's dynamic force systems, and most of them have two fuel injector systems, a regular one on the intake, but then also GDI high pressure injectors direct in the block. And they are technically still naturally aspirated, but they got super high pressure GDI injection with regular pressure injectors, two systems, very complex. Now, they work great now. I don't know how they're going to last. Your car is what? 25 years old. I kind of wonder if this new Toyota system will still be operating when it's 25 years old. They're old, they're complex, they have high pressure. As they age, that high pressure system probably will start to break down. Most of them do, right? So I doubt if the new ones are going to be as reliable as the old ones, but you can still pick, and I still would not buy a Toyota or a Lexus if it was turbocharged. I'm not a turbocharged fan. Extra pressure, sure, you get more horsepower with a smaller engine, but the cost is it won't last as long, and you also get worse gas mileage. On paper, they're rated for higher, but look, when you step on the gas, the turbo kicks in, and then it spins faster, the engine spins faster, so you get worse gas mileage. When they test it on a dyno, and a dyno's a machine, people don't drive like machines. You will get worse gas mileage with any turbocharged car. BBH says, what should I rent on my vacation? This might be a silly question. I'm going to Phoenix. I want to know what's a good mid-sized vehicle to rent while I'm in Phoenix, Arizona. There's a sunroof. See who you're renting the car from, what company are you using, Enterprise, Hertz, whatever, and see what they have available. Because let's face the fact, you're renting the vehicle, you're not buying it. So who cares, right? It's not like, oh, gee, man, I bought that Chrysler and fell apart. You don't own it. What do you care? When I rent cars, I rent anything, especially I'll rent something that I haven't seen in a while so I can drive around, see what it's like, and then tell all you people about my experience with it, see if it's a good vehicle. Got good gas mileage, stuff like that, right? But in your case, you're going to Phoenix, Arizona, you're renting the thing for vacation. Well, rent whatever you want, whatever you like. If it breaks, I'll have to bring you another one, right? And of course, a lot of it will depend on when you get there, what's available. You know, that goes these days. The rental car companies are cutting back on how many cars they have. Often you get there, you might have reserved a Toyota Camry. You might end up driving out in a Chevy Malibu because that's the only thing left on the lot, right? See what they got there. Who really cares, you know? I'd say, hey, get yourself a Toyota if you want to buy it. But if you're going to rent it, what the heck? Who really cares? So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.